It's my magnus opus, guys. I put every single thing about who I am, what I believe into Midnight. It is every single thing. I did it. I spent all my money. I got it out there. I said, this is it. I bet the farm on it. I said, Midnight is going to be the thing. Private computation, selective disclosure, fair distribution, cross-chain communication, the fastest cryptocurrency, long-term, post-quantum resistant. It does it all, and it's one of those things where it doesn't give a fuck what token you have. You can be a Bitcoin person, an Ether person, a Sol person. You get your privacy back. You need that as an industry. And I put it all on the line here. I put it all in, and we're going to get tier 1 listings. We're going to get a lot of liquidity. We're pushing hard, and millions of people have participated in getting that distribution. It's launching right out the gate. It's one of the most used cryptocurrencies, top 10. Right out the gate. It's got a lot of great partners. It's got wonderful governance at the Midnight Foundation. It's got a lot of great strategy and philosophy inside of it. And I learned so much from Ethereum and from Cardano and from being a member of this ecosystem for 10 years. And I'm going to put it out there. If Midnight doesn't succeed next year, I don't got it anymore. I really don't. I just don't understand crypto anymore. It's not something I want to do anymore as an ecosystem. Because the thing is, it's like it's owned by the banks. If Midnight's successful, it means that the banks don't own it yet. We still have an enclave out there. It's the same for Cardano. Because what we stand for with Midnight is you are your own bank. You are your own privacy. You own your own data. You're in control. When you go to Circle, when you go to any of these big chains that are owned by the banks and the big guys, what they're basically saying is at any time, your money can be turned off. At any time, all of your personal information can go to anybody who's in power, and they can use it, weaponize it any way they so choose. At any time, the rules can change, and you can go from making money to losing money. Look at being an influencer. Your entire livelihood is if you have a good relationship with Google and a handful of other companies. You piss Google off, your YouTube channel's gone. You go from I make buku fucking money to nothing.
Yeah.
That's your reality. Why the fuck would you want to build a society where like 10 companies, 15 companies, 20 companies get to decide whether you're a human being or not? Why would you want to build that shit? I don't get it. When you look at Midnight, it's like you own your identity, you own your data, you have privacy. When you buy something, some creepy fucked up government doesn't get to see what's going on. I'd like to live in that goddamn world. And so I put it all on the line and I said, you know what, we're going to go out, we're going to get this done. And I've been in this industry since basically the beginning, 2010. And I've watched it go from everybody agreed. We were all philosopher kings. We didn't give a shit. We didn't have any money. We bought our own coffee. We didn't shower. We couldn't afford clothing. We looked like homeless vagrants. We were like the fucking Hare Krishna people at the airports. Have you heard of the Willis Satoshi? I mean, this is who we were as people back in the day. And I watched the industry grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And I watched a lot of my friends either die or retire or just get corrupted along the way, and they changed as people. They went from idealists to pragmatists to compromised. I watched that happen. And I was one of those guys who never got compromised. I kept saying the same things. I kept doing the same things. And it got harder and harder every year. And I kept rubbing up against stuff that I was deeply uncomfortable with, and I was like, well, I got to keep the faith, got to keep the principles. I got to keep pushing forward. I got to keep doing this. And now I said, you know what? I'm going to put it all on the line. I'm going to bet big on Cardano. I'm going to bet big on Midnight. And we're lead with philosophy on these type of things. I fully admit we got to change how we do the KPIs and the strategies and the growth and the adoptions. Like Midnight has a partnership with Google Cloud. They're working with those guys. It's not like we say, no, we don't want to work with anybody. And what I'm saying is it's an island. We can't talk to any. I didn't say that because people misquote me all the time. But what I'm saying is you don't give them control of the system. They're not running the stake pool value. They don't own 20% of the supply. They don't decide the governance and all this other stuff. When you look at Cantor ecosystem or any of these other ecosystems that they put together, the big guys actually run it. They own it, they operate it, and they decide who gets to use it. And they are in the gatekeeping function. There's no difference between that and the banks. There's none. It's just it's just like sex with a bunch of extra steps. What's the difference between porn and prostitution? There's a camera in the room, okay? This is what we're dealing with here. And so, yeah, you can pretend it's porn, but it's basically the same fucking thing. It's just people are watching it. So blockchains and banking is the same thing. When you go ahead and you have the fucking banks take over, now we put a camera in the room. We can see the transactions on the blockchain. You're still a fucking whore. It's just that simple. And I'm so tired of it. I really am. And everybody just says, well, why can't we just be different? Why can't we just be different? You created this thing. You voted for it with your voice, your actual vote, thanks, Mondani's now in fucking New York, and your wallet. When you buy a token that is what it does, you voted for that. Own it. You can't fucking complain about it. For the rest of your life, you have to say, you know what? I just want to don the bondage gear and be the gimp in Pulp Fiction. That's what I want. I want to be the gimp. That's what they're saying. When they go ahead and they fucking put the money into that shit. You don't give a fuck about decentralization. You don't give a fuck about consensus. You don't give a fuck about actual humanity and your personal rights. You just live in this world like, I want a 2X, I want a 3X, and this is a better investment. I'll get in an A and get out into B. What are you getting out into when you sell your token for a 2X or a 3X or a 5X? You're getting out into the legacy banking world where they're going to charge you a fee for your bank account. They can shut your bank account down at any fucking moment. If the bank goes out of business, you lose all your money because FDIC only covers like $100,000, $150,000. We saw with Silicon Valley Bank and these other things. That's what you're getting out into. And then you fucking complain about it and say Orange Man bad. Or say this politician bad, this politician bad. You created that. If you don't believe in that shit, stay in honest money. Stay in honest ecosystems because I can't take your stuff. I can't turn your thing off. It's decentralized. That's the whole fucking point. And with Midnight, you get your privacy back. That's the whole fucking point of the matter. And if that doesn't matter to you, well, then don't fucking complain about where you go and the consequences of that whole thing. And having gone to over 75 countries now, I've seen places where they've given away their freedom, their liberty. I've seen places where they've handed everything to a government and they have destroyed their entire economy. It's not pleasant. And we're so fucking close to that in the United States of America.
The thing